Alrighty. Alright. What's up, guys? Flat Earth Sage. Yet again. Time to do another video. Just wait a second for someone to get in. And it feels like forever since I did a video. I do apologize, guys. It's taken me a while. I just moved into my new place. I just got a new job. With the whole moving situation and whatnot, the whole process of signing the lease was a pain in the ass. So now things have slowed down. Everything's kind of cool. I'm still going to be doing that audit video on the Fredericksburg Police Department. I would prefer to get a gimbal before I do it, just because it would be easier for me to use the camera or use my cell phone. Give me a second, guys. I'll check this out real quick. Alright. So yeah, guys, I am going to be doing that soon, because the Fredericksburg Police Department is like right next to it, right? It's basically within like a short walking distance, so I'm gonna do that. I don't want to say the apartment complex that I live, because with what I'm doing, the police might want to screw with me. So I'm going to keep that anonymous. All I'm going to say is it's a short walking distance. But I'm going to be doing that. So that's coming up soon. Whenever my next day off is, or I get some free time, I'm going to go do it. So, but anyway, I think I'll go ahead and start the video. What I really want to talk about is SpaceX, folks. SpaceX people. I was coming into work today, and on my way into work, I saw one of my assistant managers, and he was wearing a shirt that said SpaceX right there. And I was pissed off and intrigued at the same time. I was pissed off because they were wearing a SpaceX shirt, and we all know how fucked that company is. But I was also intrigued because I never had seen the shirt before. I had no idea. I mean, I can't really say it surprises me too much, because NASA has merchandise. And I showed that in one of my videos, the NASA jacket. Or the NASA hoodie, I should say. Pretty ridiculous. Apparel for nerds. And I thought that was the nerdiest thing. In fact, well, actually, NASA sells, and I shit you not, a button-up Hawaiian t-shirt. It just has, instead of the flowers, it has NASA all over it. And I told myself that was the nerdiest thing I've ever seen. But actually, the nerdiest thing that I've ever seen now is that SpaceX shirt. I'm just like, why? Why would you wear that? And it brought me back to a time when I was a kid, way before I came across Flat Earth or any of this other stuff. Back when I was still indoctrinated, when I was a child. I remember hearing a lot about SpaceX and stuff like that, but the hype wasn't really there. Not like it was with NASA. And not to mention my personal view when I was a child on SpaceX, when I was younger on SpaceX, was that they're sneaky. They're I'm not gonna say sneaky, but they're sketchy. That's what my view was when I was a young child on SpaceX. And now I understand as an adult, and after I've learned all this information, I understand that yes, they are sketchy because they, like NASA, have been helping to collaborate this lie, this global lie. But anyway, I just don't understand, like, us flat earthers have already torn SpaceX apart. Torn it apart. We've picked it to pieces. And I don't understand why people still believe and trust in SpaceX. I could understand if you want to believe and trust in NASA, that's one thing. But, like, come on, guys. SpaceX is the biggest joke I've ever seen. Most of their launches have been unsuccessful anyway. All they're doing is, like, launching stuff and then 95% of the time having it, and then 95% of the time it gets destroyed after launch, like right after launch. And they have a horrible track record. Horrible. To the point where even NASA's starting to laugh at SpaceX. Not only that, but the vibe I get is that this is just the vibe that I get from it. But the vibe that I get is that, how do I want to say this? NASA, I guess I could say NASA's embarrassed by SpaceX. And that's just the vibe I get from what I've heard, what I've researched. They're some sketchy people, and NASA is embarrassed of them. And they make unreasonable promises all the time. They're like politicians. They'll make promises and never follow through with any of them. You guys understand how this is playing out? They're doing the same shit politicians are doing. And not only SpaceX, but NASA's doing the same shit too. They'll be promising this and that. Oh, we're going to return by the moon by this time. But we haven't been back. We haven't sent another person to the moon. What the hell's up with that? And then they want to tell us that we're crazy for thinking that they're lying when they only sent up, when we only landed on the moon like once. Back in the 70s. And then after that we were like, alright guys, show's over. You know? They're like, yes, we went to the moon, we did it, it's done, nobody has to worry about it anymore, we're not going back. Because we did it. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You explore a new world, and then one time, and then you're like, okay, we're never going back. Now, there's only a few, and now there was one, when I was believing in ancient aliens, there's one theory I had, and that the theory was that they were doing that out of fear, but maybe it's fear from, I don't know. I used to think it was fear because of extraterrestrials and stuff like that when I was believing in ancient aliens. But now, I'm thinking that the reason they can't go up there in the first place is because they needed to fake it to make people believe that they went. And the cost of faking it again would be absolutely astronomical. It was a one-time deal. It was they were never intending to go multiple times to the moon. They never even went once. They were never intending on faking these landings multiple times because the public's just too good nowadays. Like, think about it. If you wanted to perpetuate, if you knew something was a lie, such as, all right, let's do an analogy. Say you got a huge rundown building out in the middle of the woods. It's been forgotten for years. And many, many years. To the point where most people alright, I'm trying to make sure I say this in a way that everyone can understand. Okay. Say there's a place out there, amusement park, or say you tell people there's a place out there, an amusement park, that's better than Disneyland, 1,000 times better than Disneyland, and you hire artists to make concepts for all the different parks and rides and stuff like that, and they come out with these most realistic, beautiful looking designs for rides and stuff. Now, you next put that in a computer program. After you put that in a computer program, it makes it into like a film, like a CGI type thing. Like an ad. And then you put that into an ad saying like, isn't this place amazing? You know, blah, blah, blah. This place is real. It's real, and very soon everybody's going to be able to go to it. Well, if it's not real, you can't build it, then, you know, then it's not real. But yet, if you put up enough reinforcement and enough fake pieces of evidence, you can convince them that it's real. And people will be like, wow, yeah, there's definitely a place better than Disneyland. You know, I saw it on TV, you know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. They're lying to us, except with this, they're say that amusement park, say they said we're having trouble with developing it, we don't have the funds, so we're asking all you guys if we can raise your taxes to be able to make this, because it's going to be that worth it. And if people are down with it enough, people will do it. Say if that park was a government-funded building, that means that your tax dollars will be going to help perpetuate, nothing but perpetuate the lie. But then at the same time, they tell you, but you guys can't go yet. We still have a lot of work to do, and, you know, the cost and all that shit. It's all a lie. And that's what I want you guys, that's the analogy I want you guys to understand. Space is completely fakeable. It is fakeable, and it has been faked for a long time. So why are we supporting these people that perpetuate the lie like SpaceX? Why are we buying t-shirts and stuff like that and buying into the bullshit? Just wanted you guys to ponder that for a minute. Anyway, just wanted to hop on here and do a quick live stream. You know, just remember that the world isn't quite as it seems. And I hope you guys have a great night. I hope you all are doing well. Alright guys, peace and love.